Who is genuinely the most beautiful woman in the world? Was in a muffler shop in Southgate. Mitch, to mechanics talking. Did you see the woman in here last week? She was so fine. Other mechanics said, hey man, they're all beautiful. The question is who is the most beautiful, not would you do her. Respect the game. September-October 1990. My then BF and I were on a holiday in Florida. We're from Europe and took a Greyhound bus trip through a large part of Florida, and in Winter Haven we saw the absolute most beautiful girl ever working at the tobacco counter of the supermarket there. It seemed she wasn't even aware of her beauty. She was very kind too. I know it's weird that I still remember this 32 years later, but there you go. Rachel Weisz in The Ugg Mummy. You all know I'm right. My Salma Hayek in a very close second. Just watching Bedazzled, and it would be tough not to nominate Elizabeth Hurley. You beautiful creature. Grace Kelly. Her entrance shot in Rear Window 1954 literally made me gasp. Close second Audrey Hepburn. Hedy Lamarr. It's Hedy, not Hedley. I mean it's probably some random woman in Sweden or something. Of all time. Celebrity Audrey Hepburn. Non-celebrity every single one. I was just talking about this recently. Phoebe Cates. No question. I have always genuinely thought that Xanadu was the most beautiful, enchanting woman I have ever seen. Even today, she's so gorgeous. Nothing will ever change my mind. Your mother. My mother. Everyone's mother. It's all very subjective. But I've always thought that Shirley Jones had one of the most beautiful faces I've ever seen. From her early Rodgers Hammerstein movies in the 1950s to playing Shirley Partridge in the 1970s. Something about the kind eyes and warm smile. I had the chance to meet her at a book signing for her memoir just a few years back, and honestly, even in her 80s, she's still a stunning woman. Sophia Loren in her day, and Linda Evangelista in the 80s. In person, Cindy Crawford is even more beautiful than on the page. She was breathtaking, tone deafness aside. Gal Gadot. Sophie Marceau, especially from when she was in Braveheart, she's so beautiful it hurt. Monica Bellucci, and I will fight anyone who disagrees to the death. Lupita Nyong'o. Beauty personified. Your mom, give her a call, I'm sure she'd love to hear from you. Kate Winslet in Titanic. When I was young I thought she was beautiful. I wished to grow up looking like that. I have a crush on Audrey Hepburn. Good lord, she's gorgeous lol. I'll mention one of the few I've met in my life. I saw her in a bar in West Hollywood. Surly goat, she walked in and looked like Liv Tyler. She was so beautiful, and I still occasionally think of her. Jacqueline Bisset in her prime. Everyday women who have their own facial characteristics, that aren't swollen from injections and look like real people. There is so much beauty in these women. Yvonne Strahovski, just drop dead gorgeous. To me, my girlfriend. As far as famous women go, Marissa Tomei. Going back a little bit, Dong Li. Angelina Jolie in Mr. and Mrs. Smith days. Elizabeth Taylor. When I saw her in National Velvet I was awestruck. Christy Brinkley. She still looks pretty good for someone in her 60s. The librarian I have a crush on. For me it's gotta be the Russian-born supermodel Natalia Vodianova, the person reading this right now. Whitney Houston. Because she is every woman. When I was a teenager I was watching Jumanji and I thought Kirsten Dunst was so beautiful. Those kinda faces that are so on point, just natural beauty. And I'm no even lesbian, I was just jealous. Didn't we just do this one? Anyway, it's Charlize Theron. Salma Hayek, Catherine Zeta-Jones. As a woman I think Gal Gadot is so pretty. Me. At least that's what my grandma says. Leonardo DiCaprio's girlfriend, so it changes every 3 years. Was? Audrey Hepburn. As? Whoever currently looks most like Audrey Hepburn. Those not in the know, Google now and thank me later. I think Selena is the most beautiful woman ever. I'm a chick, but I seriously dig out for Scarlett Johansson. She just does something for me. My wife, she knows my handle. Really upset no one has said Gal Gadot. Are we talking all time or current day? Either way, it's Marissa Tomei, the cashier at a local Walmart and Chick-fil-A. Charlize Theron is generally who I think of when I was younger. Jennifer Love Hewitt. Every woman comfortable in her skin. My soon-to-be wife and my daughter for sure. My fiancé has a very natural look and she is stunning. My daughter is very classically beautiful and will grow into a gorgeous woman. Poor girl doesn't know it yet, but she will break so many hearts lol. Ana de Armas. Her beauty should be criminal. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Sydney Sweeney really does it for me. Nicole Kidman in her physical prime. like when she was in Practical Magic, around that time. Jessica Chastain, Hedy Lamarr for all time. Wow. A bit of diversity in answers. None of those named would make my top 10, but different people have different tastes obviously. Are we factoring charisma and personality into this question? Because there are definitely some 10s who go down based on who they are and some 9s who go up based on who they are. I always answer this question with Gal Gadot. By Western standards, Monica Bellucci. East Asian standards, Chu Tzu-yu. No one has said Angelina Jolie yet. It used to be model Carol Bouquet back in the 1980s. I think it may be a young Catherine Deneuve. Subjective. There are many too many. Just find the one for you. Omitting the ubiquitous My Wife, it's Charlize Theron and Rita Hayworth. Solid tie. Laura Bailey, Ashley Johnson, Lean Beef Patty, YouTuber, Instagram fitness model. Dunn left me with the kids, God do I miss her. Nina Peters. The German foreign exchange student in my 10th grade biology class. Probably Keanu Reeves' girlfriend if he is with her. He knows her true beauty. Saruki Matsumoto. Damn, one of those graver idols is a total stunner, but there are many of those. Yeah, I don't have a girlfriend, how'd you guess? I think this thread is really cute. It shows how there is no real most beautiful woman. Everyone has their own preference, and no name has been mentioned twice so far. I think that's wonderful. People might not agree with me, but Park Ji-yoon from Twice. She's just so sexy, beautiful, talented. My wife, to me at any rate. Also 7 of 9 tertiary adjunct to Uni Matrix 01. I went hiking with cousins on some trail in the Angeles National Forest in Sokol. It ended in a small location with little waterfalls and pools to jump into when enough water was coming through. We happened to be there at the same time as a group of Aussies were also hanging out. We all chatted polite for a bit and swam in our own separate areas. On top of being very pretty, the girls there, when I say they were radiant, I mean they could have literally been radiating energy. They were bright and cheery and seemed to love talking with us locals. Their accents were heavy and fun, and they were so fiercely intent on having a good time that day, they would have fought the clouds if they decided to be overcast. For a long time, I always wanted to visit Ireland. Now, I kinda want to see Australia first. Would say Gal Gadot, that gif of her admiring someone is too perfect as well. I used to work with a girl who was the most beautiful girl I've ever seen. But she is sort of ignoring me at the moment, so extra painful for me. Plus Jenna Ortega is also fine AF. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It could be anybody for you, in case you asked me, my girlfriend. I was in Estonia and we traveled to a village called Hargla. A few miles out was a small eatery. The most gorgeous girl served us. Clear ice blue eyes, long blonde hair to her waist, no makeup but just naturally, absolutely naturally beautiful. Lovely smile. Claudia Cardinali in Once Upon a Time in the West. The one who loves you. No lie. This girl I've been talking to is genuinely the most beautiful girl in the world. Cate Blanchett. She is stunning at every age and in every movie. My wife, and she doesn't even know it. I'd do anything for her. My wife. 10,000 brownie points achieved. I'm a mosque lesbian through and through. I've got a scar over my eye and cheek, tats all over, plus a brick house kinda build and of course a fade. My wife is femme and sulfur monoxide attractive in a conventional way. I'll never ever not get nervous looking at her, and obviously she's got my vote. But she tells me I'm pretty beautiful all the time. I've never heard anyone say that to me sincerely before. Breaks and melts my heart in the same gesture. She'd say I've got her vote too, and I'm probably gonna cry a little tbh. I think Margot Robbie is mesmerizingly beautiful. I'm surprised I never see her on any of these lists. Lupita Nyong'o has dazzled me in every movie she's ever been in. There's such warmth in her face. I have such a thing for Alyssa Milano.